Hello, friends. This is Dr. John WorldPeace JD coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's about 2:52 a.m. p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to talk today. World Peace Teaching Peace 10,000.003 is the conversation. It's the abortion issue and the Supreme Court. My name is Dr. John WorldPeace JD. I'm the only global advocate for world peace. I have no peers. You can look that up on johnworldpeace.com. I'm the only advocate for Jesus, John 14:26, 15:26, 16:13. I have no peers in that either. I want to go into this. I go into all this on my website, so if you go to those websites, you're going to see more information on who I am or how I define myself, whatever you want to say. I'm going to talk to you now about the Supreme Court, and I'm going to talk to you about the Bible, and I'm going to talk to you I'm going to clear up both what the Bible says and the Supreme Court's jurisdiction in regards to the issue of abortion. Let me outline the position of corporate Christianity. All Christianity is corporate. They're all corporations under one form or another, licensed by the government. They have tax benefits, etc., etc. They're a corporate entity. Jesus didn't have a corporation. It was just Jesus. The message of Jesus was a spiritual message. He was not trying to build a church. Why would he? He was already a Jew. He was a part of that religion, and he was trying to make a change within it. He did not intend to build a church. Number one, no birth control will be provided to prevent unwanted pregnancies. This is a Christian position. We're not going to give anybody free birth control. We'd rather let them get pregnant than we have this issue of whether they need or want an abortion. The abortion issue is focused on the actual abortion, but the number of abortions would be reduced if contraceptives were free and readily available in America. So whatever the abortion issue is, it would be less of an issue with lesser amounts or numbers of unwanted pregnancies. We do not have to get to the issue of abortion if there's no pregnancy. If there's contraception, there won't be a pregnancy. Number two, all corporate Christians refuse to discuss the second part of abortion, of the abortion issue. Part one is about terminating a fetus, not a child. Child is freestanding, viable human being. That's what a child is. A fetus is what starts at conception and goes to birth. A fetus is not a child. Part two about the abortion issue is about supporting these fetuses that become children and they're brought to full term. These self-righteous corporate Christians do not want fetuses aborted, and they do not want to adopt the resulting children. And they don't want to write the checks to support them. The raising of these children, they demand to be born. Now, that's a little bit stupid. You demand that a woman go out here and have a baby that she doesn't want, take the fetus to full term, and then when the child is growing up, where are these Christians then? Nowhere. They're not going to adopt those children. They're not going to pay a dime to support them. All they want to do is make sure that they control what this woman does with her body. That is insane. It's hypocritical. It's judgmental. Not allowing birth control. Forcing a woman to carry a child full term. Crazy. Right now we have a very divisive issue of mandatory vaccinations to win the war against COVID. I'm stepping over into another similar issue, the COVID. 100 million Americans refuse to get vaccinated. They claim personal freedom, personal right to make a choice. Now, these people who advocate personal choice and keep the government out of my business turn right around and decide that they're going to tell a woman whether she can abort a fetus or not. Now, where's the difference? They're both personal rights. I don't want a COVID shot. Okay, do your thing. We got a war going on. People are dying. You don't want to get vaccinated. You don't want to be on the team. Fine. Okay, now you take and turn that around and you want to get on your high horse and demand that a woman have a baby from a fetus that she is not wanting to take to full term, and you don't want to pay for the child when it's born. What about the personal freedom then? How do these two issues not come together? You can't sit there and say, I have the right not to get a vaccine, and then say, but women don't have a right not to have a baby. That's crazy. Like George Bush used to say, everything for him was fuzzy logic. Well, this is fuzzy logic among Christians. Here's my position. If you're not going to adopt a child, you demand to be born or provide support for that child, then you need to stay out of the conversation. It is none of your business. If you're not, you're taking ownership of this woman having a child, but you're not going to help in any way, and you're not going to adopt this child, but you're going to demand that she have that child. Crazy. This is a much more serious personal choice question than whether you get a shot and put all the rest of us at risk of getting the COVID and letting it mutate and mutate and mutate because you won't get a shot. If you demand a fetus go to full term and demand a woman carry that fetus until it's full term, then you take ownership and you need to write a check. No anti-abortion bill has ever had entitlements attached to it. But that's easy to change. We got two ways to do it. One, the government allocates money. We count up all the unwanted children that were born in a year, and then we write a big check. We start increasing taxes to do that. But there's another way to do it. These churches, the ones who are not pro-choice, well, we start collecting property taxes. The state will collect property taxes on any church that is anti-abortion, and that money is gathered together and sent up to the feds, and the feds will allocate money to these children. So when you're trying to stop a woman from having an abortion, then she's going to get a number. She's going to say, I tried to have an abortion and the state wouldn't let me have an abortion, so I want to register my unborn child for support when it is born, because I'm going to need some help. And the record is entered that Miss So-and-so is going to have a baby, and that baby is going to have full benefits for life, including a college education, because the corporate Christians demand the child be born. Well, let the corporate Christians write the check. Now, you know, we all know when that gets on the table, then all these righteous Christians are going to disappear, because they're not going to pay a dime. All they want is to tell these women, hey, you got to have this child. No choice for you. We're not going to get a vaccine, but you're going to have a child. You're going to have a child. You don't have any freedom of choice. How stupid, how judgmental, how non-Christian, non-Jesus, spiritual Christian that is. No more abortion bills without a means of support. The Republicans are raising hell about that right now. Oh, we don't want to do the Biden agenda because we want to have it paid for. We don't want to take on any more taxes. Well, fine. Let's just put that anti-abortion bill in the hopper, and we will say, hey, no abortion bill until we figure out where the money's going to come from to support these unwanted children. Make sense? Well, it should. Nothing's free. You don't want a vaccine shot, but you want to tell the girl next door you will have that baby. Good luck after it's born. And also in that, we might as well pay for the pregnancy. She don't want the baby, so not only is there a check needs to be written after the child is born, we also need to write the check to pay for the doctor bills and hospital and all that. And all other problems. If the child is got a problem of any kind, well, we're going to have to write some really big checks to take care of those babies. There's another issue, and it's more of a global issue. It's more of a spiritual, universal issue. Every human being has an incarnate, living within that meat and bone, an infinite immortal spirit, a soul. So you have a finite mortal body, flesh and bone, and you have an infinite immortal soul. Well, let me give you a hot flash, friends. You can't kill a soul. Human beings, this dust, which the Bible calls it, this flesh, cannot kill a soul. Dust to dust. Only God can terminate a soul. So you can abort a fetus at the first week, or you can execute a criminal. But in either case, you can't touch that soul. And talking about that a little bit more, what do you think? When do you think a soul attaches? Well, I think it attaches as soon as there's conception. When that sperm and egg comes together and it attaches, the soul steps on board. Where does the soul come from? It comes from God. Is there reincarnation? Are there any souls out there waiting for a vehicle, a body, a container? Well, sure. Jesus said that John the Baptist was the reincarnation of Elijah. That settled that question. Churches don't preach it, but friends, there is reincarnation. You got it from the red letter words of Jesus. Now look, I'm not going to argue in anything that I'm talking about as to what's right and wrong and what should have been, could have been, and all that stuff. I only deal with what's in the Bible. What's in the Bible is what Christians believe. That's where the conversation has to be. The red letter words of Jesus. Jesus said, there is reincarnation. Well, that means there's souls out there waiting to be born, waiting to get a vehicle. Some, not all of them, want to do this. You also have these near-death experience all over the internet on YouTube. I died and I went to heaven or wherever, and I came back, and now I have a different perspective. There is no death. So here we have this immortal, infinite spirit that was made by God at some point. And there's a conception, and some spirit decides to climb aboard that body. By the way, this is why there's so many black sheep in families. And I'm one of them, believe me. I'm an outcast from the rest of my family. Always have been, but I went through the whole experience, but I don't talk to my kids. They're not of my soul clan, if you want to say that. That's where black sheep come from. Every child born to you is not part of your soul group. And that's why there's so much trouble within families, part of it. Okay, so if you don't believe in reincarnation, then what does that mean? You and your husband or your boyfriend go out and get in the back seat of a car and have sex, and you have this conception issue coming up, and then you say, hey, God, bring yourself down here and make a soul for this baby we just created. What does that mean? That means that you Christians having sex, having baby, you control God. You're telling God, get out here, we need another soul. How stupid is that? The souls are already there. The conception occurs, a soul steps in. But the point that I'm trying to make here is very simple. You can't kill a soul. Kill all the babies you want. Kill all the children you want. Kill all the criminals you want. Kill everybody you want in a war. You can't kill the soul. The soul doesn't die. And when you say somebody dies, I don't like that term. Oh, Uncle Fred died. No, he didn't. His body died. His body quit, just like a car quits. But Uncle Joe's spirit didn't do anything. It stepped out of the body because it doesn't work anymore. Went back to heaven or wherever. You can't kill a soul. So what's the issue about abortion? What's the issue? What's important, the dust of the body or the soul? Most of you people don't even get the fact that when Jesus rose from the dead, it was not a physical body. It was his soul body. How do we know? Real simple. He walked through walls. He appeared and disappeared. He rose up into the sky. Hey, that's a soul body. That's a body that's not as concrete as a human body. It was Jesus' soul that appeared in the resurrection, not his physical body. Okay, so the issues that I'm talking about are religious doctrine, dogma, beliefs. Supreme Court has no jurisdiction. The Supreme Court has got to decide, is there reincarnation or is there not? Do souls die? Can you kill a soul when you kill a fetus? The Supreme Court's got to get to that issue before they can decide on abortion or not abortion. They don't have any jurisdiction in religious matters. Now, how this religious issue of a fetus being born and the souls and all that How that ever got in the court system, I do not know. The Bible is clear. Bodies create bodies. God creates souls. When you die, your body goes to some place. Jesus was asked, if a woman has had 7 husbands, who's her husband in heaven? And Jesus said, you don't get it. When you exit this body that you're living in now, you have a soul body. There's no gender. Why is there no gender? Because souls cannot create souls. So what's the point of gender? The only point of gender on the earth, in the earth dreamscape, is to create bodies for souls to come into. If you don't have a need to create bodies through bisexual interaction, then why do you need genitals? You don't. There's no gender in heaven. On another issue, this is why it's so stupid to subordinate women all around the world. Somebody's got to be in the female body. What this male-female thing on earth has nothing to do with what goes in heaven, because when your soul returns to heaven, there's no gender. And to talk about what happened on earth is stupid regarding sex, regarding that. The drive to have sex is so great that all kinds of trouble comes around it. So see, we get into all these issues with the damn Supreme Court trying to stick their nose into something that's none of their business, none of their jurisdiction. The only way we're ever going to have justice, this is another collateral issue, is that when a student graduates from law school, he has to decide right then if he wants to be a judge. If he wants to be a judge, he cannot join a political party. He cannot work in a law firm. That's a commitment he makes, and if he does that, well, then he's no longer eligible to be a judge. Then we don't have this 50-year abortion issue coming up depending on which party is in. It's a totally political issue. It's not a religious issue. It's a political issue. It's about power. If it wasn't such a big deal for there to be Republican judges, and Mitch McConnell wouldn't have done everything he could to put Republicans on the bench. Kill the Republican Democratic political aspect of being a judge, and all of that conflict and the craziness of the law goes away. But the main thing that I'm talking about is the court, by the Constitution, you don't mix religion and politics, and courts, this abortion issue is a religious, spiritual issue, and it's not resolved. There is no one mindset on reincarnation, not reincarnation, blah, blah, blah. It's not there. When you kill a fetus, you're killing dead meat. A child has no rights in the law. It's the mother that asserts the rights of the children, the fetus or whatever, which I think is stupid. That baby comes out, it takes a breath, it stays alive for a couple of minutes, then it's a baby, then it's a child. After that, it's got all kinds of rights. Before that, baby pops out of the mother, doctor spanks it, puts it on the table, it's dead on arrival. Soul goes back to heaven. That's it. The Supreme Court's jurisdiction starts when that child becomes a baby, not before. Not before in the discussion of whether this fetus is this or that. The Supreme Court steps in when a new human being steps out, takes a breath. There'll be more videos on this subject, but this will get you started. This conversation with abortion is off track. It's not bringing in the support issue. It's not bringing in the soul issue. So it doesn't belong in the courts. The courts have no jurisdiction over those things. If you Christians want a child born, then get out your checkbook and write a check. You know what it's about, taking care of your child and raising him and buying him school clothes and sending him to college and all that. Well, you want a bunch of these children, fetuses turned into children? You want to step into that? Write the check. No more property taxes, exemptions for churches. All that money goes into a fund to support these children that you demand be born. And these COVID people, if we're going to go with the COVID model, you have a personal freedom right to do whatever you want. Well, stay the hell out of your female neighbor's business. You want the right not to get a shot? Do not cram your nonsense down this pregnant woman's throat. The greatest impediment to peace in the world human society is the subordination of women globally. Now, if you've got anything to contradict me, who I am, what I'm doing, well, get your preacher over here. Get your preacher. He and I will have a video. We'll make it public, and we'll talk about what's what. But they're not going to do it. There's no preacher that's going to go head-to-head with me. They are not my peers. There's no preacher or priest that's not a false preacher. The Pope, the number one Christian, enables pedophilia. They always have in the Catholic Church. And they subordinate women. You can't get the top job if you're a woman. More nonsense. We need heaven rules on earth. Heaven rules is sex, gender doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is that you're a soul. Then we're all on an even playing field. Anyway, this is Dr. John WorldPeace JD. Thanks for your consideration. This conversation is going to heat up dramatically. There's a place to contribute to this world peace, increasing the world peace. 99% of that money goes to advertising and increasing the peace. It doesn't go to me. I'm not going to buy a new car off of it. I'm not going to buy a house. I'm not a holy roller preacher. Takes their cut of the money God inspired people to give for God's work. And they say, wait a minute, God, you want me to do this work? You're going to have to cut me a check. Big check. Oh, yeah. It's Dr. John WorldPeace JD. Have a good day.